Do you want Kristi Noem to stay? Do you believe she's credible?
I think she's qualified enough because guess what? I don't want to go through.
Do you want her to stay?
I don't want to go through it. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Trump received a mandate back in November 2024 to remove illegals from this country. It was never going to be pretty. There was going to be oopses. There was going to be things that happen that not everyone's going to like. But
so in this clip, we are going to see Scott Jennings as well as a Republican strategist's consistent whataboutery get completely shut down by Abby Phillip and the rest of this CNN panel. As usual, let's watch the clip in full. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and my perspective, and I'm going to hold them towards the end. Let's get into it.
Tonight, Donald Trump's notorious habit of lying is rubbing off on his administration, and it's catching up to them in the court of law. Just consider this week alone. First, DHS admitted that its website featuring criminals it calls the worst of the worst was rife with errors. The website lists about 25,000 people, many of whom were only linked to minor offenses. And after receiving questions from CNN, the department changed the site. Second, the Department of Justice announced that it violated orders in New Jersey after a judge told them at least 50 times that they did it in the last 10 weeks. And in its immigration crackdown, third, a judge held a federal attorney in contempt for the first time in Trump's second term. Now, these credibility problems, especially apparent at DHS, as their accounts of incidents have fallen apart based on video and other evidence. And that includes the cases of Renee Good, Alex Preddy, a shovel attack, Greg Bovino claiming he'd been hit by a rock, an assassination threat, a car ambush, a teenager's arrest, a gun claim, and a college student accused of supporting Hamas. Angie Wong and Representative Justin J. Pearson are here with us. This is adding up to a lot, I think, for the American people right now. And let me just show you what they think. Alex Preddy. 61% say that the Trump administration did not give an honest accounting of the shooting. 58% say Kristi Noem should be removed from her job. I mean, that's something you would normally see just from partisans, but it's permeated.
maybe. Look, the media is trying to paint DHS and ICE as reckless constantly, right? And people are buying it. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Trump received a mandate back in November 2024 to remove illegals from this country. It was never going to be pretty. There was going to be oopses. There was going to be things that happen that not everyone's going to like. But what are you guys doing? You're looking at their website, looking for errors? I mean, come on.
Should we ignore the information that they're putting out? Should we ignore what the judges say they're lying about?
No, I think that why didn't we call this out during the Biden administration when Mayorkas said the border is closed, when we all had two eyes and saw millions of illegals coming in?
We talked about that. We reported on it. We debated it. All of that.
Let's be clear here. It is not an oopsie when Alex Preddy is dead, when Renee Good is dead, when Keith Porter is dead. When Dr. Linda Davis is dead, and just recently they learned another gentleman, Ruben Martinez, is dead due to what this administration is doing. It's not an oopsie when a place like Memphis, which is under occupation by the Trump administration right now, has seen over 700 people separated from their families or deported. This is not something that is normal, and we're not going to normalize it or allow for language that dehumanizes people who are suffering right now all across this country because of what ICE is doing. And the consequences of this are both immoral, but it's also economics. The reality is we are facing the truth where hundreds of billions of dollars are contributed to our economy by immigrants, both those who are documented and undocumented, and you and so many other people are continuing to push a narrative to try and separate and to divide.
It's not a narrative. It's the law.
That's not something that we need to be supporting.
If you're here illegally, that's the law.
Let's talk about the law for a second. DHS has made itself a major credibility problem. They've earned it, right? There have been over 50 cases when judges appointed to the bench by presidents of both parties have found on the record that DHS made untrue, misleading statements. And let's just be specific about one of them, right? The shovel attack, alleged shovel attack, happened mid-January, right? DHS's initial statement was that was an attempted murder, okay? What happened now, DHS, to its credit, has admitted that the agents who gave that testimony gave, and I quote, false statements, and their statements were contradicted by video evidence, and they dismissed these attempted murder charges. That's a major screw-up, and that's one of many of them. Now, Tom Homan, to his credit, has taken this issue on, has acknowledged that there is a credibility problem. Someone's got to fix it. It is real hard to build your credibility. It's real easy to lose it.
Not only did they admit it, I believe they're investigating these agents, and they may face criminal charges for lying or giving false testimony. So that's a good thing. It strikes me that, especially on the cases where you have interactions between officers and the public, one of the things that's going to solve this is body cams. And they're sending, I guess they sent body cams to Minnesota. I don't know if that's going to be applied broadly, but I think it should be applied nationwide, because this would eliminate all doubt when you have interactions going on between law enforcement and the public. If you have body cams, the more video evidence you have, the more certainty you can have about how these interactions occur.
Yeah, I mean, body cams are overwhelmingly popular. 92% of Americans say they should be wearing them. But also 61% say no more masks.
Transparency.
And on top of that, I mean, I would just add that body cams have been funded for ICE and for a while now, since the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Why they haven't been deployed, I don't understand. But that seems to have been a decision that was made, that it wasn't that important to have accountability as they were fanning out these agents all across the country.
I mean, ICE is the largest law enforcement agency in the country right now. With that type of budget and those resources, they have a responsibility to get some confidence of the public. You don't do that by lying to us about what we can see on video. We saw the video with Alex Preddy. We saw the video with Renee Good. And we have a 13-year-old kid who was detained by ICE in Massachusetts. They said he had a gun. There was no gun found. How often can you lie, call people domestic terrorists, and then find out that they're just driving their cars and expect the American public to believe that? If you want to retain and restore the credibility of ICE, it starts at the top. That's the President of the United States, ICE director, the Homeland Security director. It's not just the people on the street.
Do you guys think Kristi Noem's done a good job? Do you want, as conservatives, Republicans, do you want to see her stick around?
I think they've removed a lot of illegals out of this country in a very short period of time. It's historical scale. And when we're talking about
But do you want Kristi Noem to stay? Do you believe she's credible?
I think she's qualified enough, because guess what? I don't want to go through.
Do you want her to stay?
I don't want to go through another Senate confirmation hearing.
Kristi Noem and all the people who've been leading this attack against people in our communities that have been deployed all need to resign or all need to be fired.
Not at all.
I think that needs to happen.
We're going to hit a quick pause here, and we'll continue after a quick break. We'll be right back.
So for me, did you see the way that she kind of danced around the question? She couldn't answer that one simple question, and we know the reason as to why she couldn't answer it is because she doesn't want to be seen to be coming out and speaking against Kristi Noem, because the reality is this: anybody that has even a slither of a brain cell, they will know Kristi Noem. Of course she needs to stand down. That's the reason as to why Donald Trump overlooked her and sent Holman down to Minnesota to fix the situation. That's the reason as to why she's been sometimes held out of actual meetings, official meetings that have taken place, because she has no clue what it is that she's doing. And all she's literally doing is just making the situation and making matters worse. It should be absolutely no surprise for absolutely anyone when it comes to this situation. But I just want to go back just to what it is that she said earlier on. To refer to Americans being gunned down by their own government in the middle of the street in the manner that Renee Good and Alex Pretty were gunned down speaks volumes. Speaks volumes. That's not an oopsie. So to even try and refer to it as an oopsie, that's nasty work. That is nasty work, in my humble opinion. That can't be referred to as an oopsie. And the fact that it is that she even thought about the fact that she was going to use that word, being a Republican strategist, it literally shows you where the psyche and the thought process of the right is right now. These are people who aren't thinking normal, aren't thinking the right way, because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But it shouldn't shock us. This is the right. This is MAGA. This is Donald Trump's party. And exactly like you heard Keith Boykin say in the video, it starts at the top. It starts at the top, and it starts with Donald Trump. And that's the reason as to why it literally filters down to Republican strategists, Republican commentators that think they can just say random things like you heard her just say, because there's going to be no pushback and no one's going to say absolutely anything. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this exchange in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button if you're interested in my thoughts and my opinions as an outsider looking into American politics. And turn on the bell notification as well to get notified every time we upload a brand new video. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next clip.